Good morning. Good morning. It's time to end the uncertainty and restore democracy to the City of Glenorchy. Yeah, obviously for 2 years now, the government has been waiting for a Board of Inquiry report. The community has been waiting for a Board of Inquiry report. That has continually been frustrated. The evidence yesterday from the Auditor-General in regards to the damning assessment that he has made in respect of procurement at the Glenorchy City Council has once again raised concerns in the Glenorchy community in respect of the management of their council. The government is going to move and move swiftly. We believe that it's now time to end the uncertainty and to restore democracy, and I will be introducing legislation into the Parliament later today that will, subject to it passing the upper house, dismiss the current Glenorchy councillors and set an election date for the 16th of January. We believe that the best way forward for this community is to have a democratically elected council. It's now up to the ratepayers of Glenorchy to accept both the opportunity and the responsibility and elect the council that they want to guide their future.
What is the likelihood of this passing the upper house, do you think?
Well, I would hope that the upper house would also be cognisant of the views of the Glenorchy community. They are frustrated. This has gone on now for 2 years with the Board of Inquiry. The current councillors have been suspended since earlier this year. That community needs certainty. That community needs democracy returned to it. And therefore I would hope that the upper house would support the government's legislation.
Can you describe why it hasn't been, can you describe why you can't dismiss them right now, the councillors, the aldermen?
Well, currently under the Local Government Act, a Board of Inquiry needs to reach its conclusions, recommendations need to be made, and obviously that process has continually been frustrated. There is a further appeal to be heard by the full bench of the Supreme Court on the 25th of this month. We are confident of our legal position, but there is no certainty through this process. Further appeal could be made. The likelihood is that the government may not receive that Board of Inquiry report until sometime in 2018.
Is there a worry that, I guess, the same Glenorchy aldermen that be so dysfunctional will just get returned with having elections so quickly?
Well, the ratepayers of Glenorchy will make that decision. They have now both the opportunity and the responsibility to elect the council that they want to guide that city's future.
What kind of action will you be taking on that Auditor-General report?
That matter has been referred to the local government division. The Director of Local Government is considering that. He'll make recommendations to me. Now, obviously, if it needs referring to other parties, then we will do so. But he'll consider that report and make his own determination.
As you mentioned, there's a legal case going on, and there's been members of that who haven't been afraid to launch appeals. Are you expecting any sort of legal challenges to this legislation if it does pass?
Well, let me be clear. In terms of the current Board of Inquiry process, we're not going to reach into that. That will continue. The Board of Inquiry process will be allowed to finish its processes, and hopefully a report will be made to government at some time in the future. It's my intention that we would obviously make that final report public whenever that's available. And so in respect of the current Board of Inquiry report, I don't expect there to be any matters associated with what we're doing today that will impact on that. But in terms of this legislation, the advice that I have is that it will withstand legal challenge.
Specifically, so the legislation that you're putting ahead, there won't be any legal challenges?
Well, again, that's a matter for individuals to make up their mind in respect of that. But I believe that the community of Glenorchy wants certainty. I believe that they want an end to this, and this will provide them with the opportunity and the responsibility now to elect the council that they want to guide their future.
Will this legislation affect Glenorchy City Council only? Will it mention them in name, or could you use use this legislation further on down the track for any other council who the government doesn't agree with?
This legislation is Glenorchy City Council specific.
How is this different to Hillingdale Council, where you've actually reappointed the commissioner there, saying that their elections wouldn't be until October, when the rest of the local government elections are?
Well, the circumstances are quite different. We had a board of inquiry that was allowed to conduct its business. It provided a report to government. We adopted the recommendations of that board of inquiry in the first instance and provided that existing council with 6 months under direction to guide its own future. It didn't take that opportunity, and then that council was dismissed. And our view is that the best way forward for the Yuin Valley is the current circumstances. In terms of Glenorchy, obviously the circumstances are vastly different to what occurred in the Yuin. The board of inquiry has been ongoing for 2 years now. The councillors have been suspended for nearly 9 months already. By the time of the elections early next year, will be almost 12 months that that council has been under suspension. So the circumstances are vastly different. In the case of Glenorchy, there will only be one election next year, and that will be by January the 16th. There will be no second election in October of next year.
How does this play out with other members of the administrative section of the council, the general manager, for example?
Well, the operations of the council are matters for, in the Glenorchy City Council's case, the commissioner or a newly elected council.
Is the Local Government Act and council codes strong enough to prevent something like what we've seen in the Auditor General's report happen again?
Well, again, we've got the Local Government Act. The amendments are currently before the Upper House today, which strengthen the provisions in regards to the opportunity for the Minister to use performance improvement directions to direct councils to take certain actions. My view is that the regulations are sound, but obviously in the case of Glenorchy, in respect of what was reported yesterday, the framework wasn't followed.
Some people might say this is a very smart ploy to keep suspended Mayor Christy Johnston busy from the state election. Yeah, well, I guess what would you say to that?
Well, again, there's nothing that will preclude anybody from running to a state election later next year. Nothing whatsoever. An elected councillor can stand for the state election if they wish.
So this has nothing to do with stopping Chrissy Johnston from trying to run for state election?
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. This is about restoring democracy to the city of Glenorchy, and we believe that this is the best way to do it. And for the ratepayers of Glenorchy to have the opportunity and the responsibility, I want to stress that, the future of the Glenorchy City Council will rest in the hands of the ratepayers of the city of Glenorchy. They have both the opportunity now and the responsibility to elect the right people to represent them into the future.
Has there been any other scenario where this sort of legislation has been used before to sack a council?
Look, not to the best of my knowledge in Tasmania.
Would you be hoping this legislation gets through this year?
It's our intention that we will move it through the lower house at the earliest opportunity, and it will be before the upper house the middle of next month. I would hope that the upper house would listen to the community of Glenorchy and that they would enable the ratepayers of Glenorchy to have democracy restored.
The local government, Director of Local Government said he's going to issue the council with a non-compliance notice and essentially, I guess, a slap on the wrist in some way. Is there any further action he can take against them from the Tasmanian audit report?
Well, again, I'm waiting on advice from the Director of Local Government in regards to that matter.
When did you start taking advice on these fresh elections?
Look, obviously I've been concerned for some period of time. I received a draft copy of the Auditor General's report and was able to comment on that. You would have seen my comments in that report. It was obvious to me that we needed to consider what our options might be.
What kind of message are you sending about proper processes, though, when essentially you're acting before the Supreme Court's heard this appeal?
Again, in regards to the Board of Inquiry report, we're not reaching into that at all. Will have no impact on the current process before the Supreme Court. What this is about is ensuring that we can return democracy to Glenorchy at the earliest opportunity. And the government's firmly of the view that the ratepayers of Glenorchy need to have the opportunity and the responsibility of electing a new council.
What happens if that Board of Inquiry report finds that there were no issues with the council in the end or anything like that?
Well, again, I haven't seen the Board of Inquiry report. But again, yesterday there was further evidence that there has been issues within that council, and they have been well documented now over the last 2 years, and in fact prior to the Board of Inquiry report being initiated. There were transgressions of the Local Government Act. There were issues in respect of both the conduct of aldermen and councillors, but also in respect of the public's view and the concerns that the city, the ratepayers of Glenorchy had. That has been well documented now for over 2 years. But again, the Board of Inquiry report, I'll consider that when that's made available to me. The frustrating thing is that we've not been able to see that report as yet.
Would you be open to having this matter looked at by the Integrity Commission?
Which matter?
The matter that came forward in the Auditor General's report.
Well, again, I'm waiting on advice from the Director of Local Government, but the Director of Local Government as a statutory authority is, they have the role and responsibility. If there are matters that they think should be inquired into by another agency, they can refer.
Do they have the power to sack staff?
Sorry?
Does the Director of Local Government have the power?
No, they don't. No, the operational arm of council is separate to the democratically elected arm of council.
Just to clarify, so it's fresh legislation that will be introduced?
It is new legislation, yes. And
it's concerning Glenorchy City Council only?
It is only in respect of Glenorchy City Council. What this legislation will do, subject to it passing, is dismiss the current councillors and it will set a new election date for the 16th of January.
Today we're expecting an outcome on the anti-protest laws that this government has put in place. What are you expecting there?
Well, again, I'm not going to judge what might be announced later today. Our view is very simple. Like, we believe that people should have the right to go to work without impediment, and that's what our laws were designed to do.
If those laws are challenged and shown to be illegal, will the government introduce any alternative laws in the future?
Look, I'm not going to deal with hypotheticals this morning. We'll wait to see, and then we'll consider and take advice on that matter. I would hope that our laws are retained. That as I've said, our position very clearly is that we believe that people should have the right to go to work without impediment.
You're also fronting the Taswater inquiry today. What are you preparing to say into the inquiry?
Well, once again, I'll be ensuring that the inquiry understands that our plan will provide better infrastructure, quicker and at a cheaper cost, and that that is in the best interests of Tasmanians. We are economic realists. We believe that cost of living is a challenge. The Productivity Commission report recently takes an economic purist point of view. We're economic realists. We'll continue with our plan because we believe that that is in the best interests of Tasmania. Better infrastructure, quicker and importantly cheaper. Thank you.